All right, we got the Frang and Mack Beantown Blitz podcast. NBA Finals are about to tip off. The defending champion Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Rematch of last year's NBA Finals. We got myself, Chris Frangolini, and we got special guest Adam Kaplan. Boys, what do we think about the NBA Finals? We'll go to Chris first with your thoughts.
I'm torn between two halves. One side of my brain is rooting for Cleveland. I think the better storyline is getting Cleveland a title. LeBron James, even though I think he's soft, I think he's a prima donna. I can't imagine any great in any sport having lost 5 championships if he did lose to Golden State. So those two storylines in rooting for the city of Cleveland. Um, I think they deserve it. I mean, we're spoiled up here in Boston with all our teams and a city of Cleveland who hasn't won in, what is it, 40 years. I know you discredit the AFL championship, so the last one was the Indians. So I guess, and for the fact that, just to let everybody know, all our listeners know that Steph Curry came in the league in '09. He was drafted in 2009, but I think it was just maybe the past 2 or 3 seasons that everyone just started caring about Steph Curry and the Splash Brothers. So there's a little bit that ticks me off that everyone is a bandwagon for a team that probably never watched the Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, Golden State Warriors. So there's that factor and that element too. Adam, what do you think?
I mean, you just hit it on the spot, my friend. I mean, I guarantee, like, you see all these bandwagoners, and for example, the funny thing is, I don't know if you remember this, when they retired Chris Mullin's jersey, I think in like 2011, to which my memory's really bad, been in the head too many times, but when they retired Chris Mullin's jersey, the city of wherever, I don't know where they're
They
located,
booed,
Oakland,
didn't they boo?
they booed the owner out of that gym. Like they
Yep.
wanted him to sell the team, they hated him. And Rick Barry, the Hall of Famer, the last great player they've had, probably the second best player in their history behind Curry, maybe the best actually. Debatable between him and Curry. They played in two different generations. He grabs the mic and he goes, "Why are you people booing this man? He's bringing you guys a championship. He's putting together a great team." And when Barry said that, the arena went with boos. You would have thought it was like A-Rod coming to Boston, pretty much the way they treated the owner at the time. And now they
But
have a championship. So I totally agree with you on the bandwagoning. I mean, they went from booing them to being, all right, well, go Warriors. And I guarantee half the people root for them can't even tell you that team that played against Dallas, who upset Dallas as the eighth seed with Andre Beardness, Baron Davis, Steven Jackson. They can't even name these guys. So, I mean, it's a lot of bandwagoning, and it's tough to say right now. But part of me really wants to see Cleveland win, like you said. They haven't won since 1950 something. They're off the top of my head. The last time you said was AFL and the Indians in the 40s. And sort of after the ESPN documentary, I'm rooting for Cleveland, but I also love the way Golden State plays. So it's really tough for me right now.
and Mac, real quick before you give us your thoughts, your opening thought, you must, as a fan, as an analyst, don't you have a little problem where people are already putting Steph Curry in the Hall of Fame? They're already saying that the Golden States are possibly a dynasty. Man, last time I checked, they've only won one championship. They almost got upset by Oklahoma City, I guess if you could call it an upset. They did knock off the Spurs. So can we slow our roll here a little bit?
Yeah, I mean we gotta slow the roll a little bit here. They've been good for one season. I think what's getting everybody all hyped up a bit is first of all you got the star power. You got Steph Curry who was the best player in the NBA this season, and they're doing something that nobody's ever seen before. They got this, catch and shoot from long distance. They're not like the old school Celtics, Lakers, Spurs. They're not big, powerful presence down low. Steph Curry's going to shoot from outside. Klay Thompson's going to shoot from outside. They're going to kill you with the three ball. They don't really have that, dominating perimeter presence. So everybody's, obsessed with this new toy. And Steph Curry, he's the cool cat. He chews on the mouth guard. He walks around. He just dribbles up to, half court line, shoots a three, drills it. Everybody loves that type of stuff. But yeah, we definitely got to settle down a little bit. And that's
But
why
I apologize about the Hall of Fame comparison, but the game has changed since the Celtics and Lakers of the 80s. Now teams are very different. I prefer the Lakers and the Celtics of the 80s in today's style, but I'll
Thank you.
adapt to today's style.
Thank you. I
Today's
agree.
games. These guys are taking threes. I mean, look at both teams tonight. They're going to be playing small ball throughout the series. This isn't the era anymore. We have dominant big guys, the Shaquille O'Neals, the Hakeem Olajuwons, the Patrick Ewings of the world. I mean, they're going to be playing a lot of lineups where you're going to have Andre Iguodala, who's 6'7", Draymond is probably 6'5". You got Klay Thompson, Harrison Barnes, and Steph Curry. That's going to be a five-guard lineup. They're going to play a lot. And Cleveland, they don't play Mozgov, who's a legit big man this year. They don't play him, and they're playing a guy like Channing Frye, who's just a straight up 3-point shooter, and Kevin Love, a 3-point shooter. So the game has changed a lot. It's not as physical as it used to be. It's a lot higher scoring, and it's all 3-pointers now. So we got to look at it that way too. It's just the game is changing.
And I think it's fun to watch. Obviously, Curry makes my mouth drop with what he does. He is unbelievable. Rightfully so, the two-time even MVP reigning. Even though last year I still think James Harden deserved it, but oh well, he won. And he takes a lot of bad shots, and he'll take shots with 18 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah,
It drives me nuts. I don't think that is good basketball. I like fundamental basketball. And you know what? Although I'm not, blessed with what your height is, you're 6'5", I grew up playing center and power forward, so I always played back to the basket. I know you did too. How does that, that must drive you nuts that they just eliminate the big guy now. It's almost a non-position in the NBA.
No, I totally agree with you, Chris. And like I said, like with even the guys that coach now, like for example, today's game is all about the fundamentals aren't there. I mean, coaches aren't really teaching guys a hop step or a post moves today. It's all about, can you shoot a three-pointer? Can you pull up? I mean, Curry's great. I love the way he plays, but you hit it right on the point. These shots he's pulling up at 20 seconds left in the shot clock. Looks like Mike D'Antoni, his old Suns offense, and the Knicks offenses used to run the 7 seconds or less. And it's mind-boggling, but, I mean, he makes some shots. But there's also a lot of shots he takes that are very questionable for sure.
And Mac, to address you, dating back to that last series, the 7-game series, Golden State, Oklahoma City, great series, but, doesn't it drive you nuts when you see Serge Ibaka, who is not a three-point shooter? I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if he's taking 1,000 shots in the offseason in the summer. I don't care. He's shooting threes. That style of play, doesn't that drive you nuts as a fan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not big. Like, I'll give it to you. When it first started off, when Golden State was going on that run at the beginning of this year, even in the finals last year, I thought it was an entertaining product. But I think the hype train and everyone trying to adapt to it was kind of getting annoying. And I like to see the old. I know it's not coming back to what you said earlier, Adam. The old school style is not coming back, but I think Cleveland is closer to what somebody like Golden State is to the older school model. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that prevail in a series like this because we've seen so many of these teams try to adapt to the Golden State method of play now.
So we talked about the teams we like.
Yeah,
Let's get. Oh, go ahead, Adam.
Like what we grew up with like the Lakers of the early 2000s, when you have the Spurs, where it's inside out. I mean, you got I mean, when Shaq played, I think he's one of the most underrated players ever. I mean, everything went through Shaq. You got double team, triple team. It was all inside out. Today, everything's outside to inside. It doesn't seem as dominant to me as a fan when I watch it. Like I remember growing up in Miami, seeing Shaq play in person. He's 7'1", 300 pounds. I mean, he's the biggest human I've ever seen in my life, and that was dominating. And today is just I don't know. It's not as intimidating as it used to be.
Doesn't it start with the kids, though, on the playgrounds? No one's playing back to the basket. Let me post up. They're jacking 35-foot three-pointers on the schoolyard. Let's be honest. Isn't that just part of what today's generation is, too? Not that we're all old guys here, but I mean, that is essentially what the kids are doing nowadays, right? They just stand and hang around the three-point line. They don't crash the boards to grab a rebound. They just stand there, put their hands up, and then once they release it, they'll do this. And then back up like Curry does, because they all want to be like Curry. Drives me nuts.
I hope that doesn't
think it's cool. Yeah.
I hope that doesn't bring the softness to the game, is what I'm trying to say. Because I like that old school mantra of trying to get in the playoffs when a series starts to get a little chippy down the low post, and I don't want to see this. Just every series is let you live or die off the three ball.
Can we bring back the era where there was a bad boy? Detroit Pistons.
Please.
If you're gonna drive the lane, we're gonna put you on the floor. We're not gonna give you a layup. We're not gonna, if Curry starts getting hot, get in his face, knock him down. I mean, don't hurt the guy, but don't you want to show him that you're there, give him a presence? That's not today's NBA game, though.
Those guys were also, I feel like they had the more winning perspective attitudes where they wanted to kill each other on that court. I mean, they would have done whatever it took to win as a team. I mean, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer wanted to kill Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale. They wanted to kill the Detroit Bad Boys. I mean, Magic and the Lakers, same thing. I mean, today's game, I feel like when the guy loses, he's kind of hugging and kissing the guy next to him, saying, Hey man, great game, which is
It's
great
too
for
much of that.
sportsmanship, but they don't have that killer mentality that the Michael Jordans, the Larry Birds,
That's
Kevin
a good
McHale's,
point.
Bill Laimbeer, Isaiah Thomas's.
It's almost manufactured hate during the series, and then after the game, the final buzzer goes off, and they're like, "Hey guys, where we going? What nightclub? Where we going to eat after?" Like, come on, man, show fight it out on the court.
Where's Drake?
Yeah.
It's like, where's Drake in it?
So before we wrap up, we talked about the series a little bit. I My heart is saying Cleveland in 7 because I'm rooting for Cleveland, the city of Cleveland, and LeBron. But in actuality, I think it's going to be Golden State in 7 games. I give the respect to LeBron with the healthy squad to at least take it to 7.
Yeah, I agree. I think much like you, Chris. Here, I want Cleveland to win. I also watch Believeland. I felt very. I dare you to watch Believeland 30 for 30 from ESPN and not root for Cleveland in this series. But when it comes down to it, after you come back from 3 games to 1 like that in the West Finals, you're riding so much momentum. I think they win this series in 7 games.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. My philosophy is I think that if it's tied at 2 apiece and Cleveland goes into, let's say the series is tied at 2, Game 5, Cleveland goes into Golden State and they win in Golden State, then I think they're going to end up winning the series. But if it goes 7 games in Oracle Arena, there's no way, in my opinion, that Cleveland has the opportunity to win a Game 7 on the road. In my head, ever Game 7 NBA Finals being the road team winning. So I really think if it goes 7, it's going to be Golden State as well. But if it goes 6, I got to go with Cleveland. So I think I'm going with Golden State. So they have too many weapons. Golden State in 7 as well. I think Thompson. Honestly, I think the secret of the series is going to be Barnes and Iguodala's defense on LeBron is going to tire LeBron a lot.
One last question before we wrap it up, because you're from Miami, Adam. So you've seen LeBron. You probably watched a lot more LeBron games than we do up here. We only see him when he's national, which is a lot, but not as much as the 82 games a Miami Heat fan would watch. Do you think LeBron has the grit to lead his team to get through this? I mean, I don't think Cleveland. I know they have Matthew Dellavedova, but I think, like you said, Golden State, Barnes and Iguodala, they have better defenders, better weapons that could shut down LeBron. So do you think he could ultimately lead this team with all that opposition?
I think he could, but the thing with me is that these guys that Cleveland has, it's kind of like the Miami guys. They talk more, like they're talking killers. Like they're like, yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass, but they talk about it, and
But they
they're
don't really
very,
back it up, type of thing.
yeah. Where I think Golden State, they're laughing, but inside they're humble and they're ready to kick your ass. I shouldn't curse, I apologize, but they're ready to have that killer
It's a podcast.
mentality where they're ready to just beat you up at any chance. So I think he can lead them, but it's going to be the ultimate. I think this is going to be the ultimate battle of LeBron's career this series.
I agree. I agree. Couldn't agree more. LeBron, um, it's going to be one of those series for the ages. I think last year was a pretty solid series. This one with the rematch, and the story. I root for the story when it comes to when a non-Boston team is involved. I'm rooting for the story. I think the king, quote unquote, in LeBron James, which makes me want to puke just calling him that. But the king coming back and stealing the throne from the new kid on the block, Steph Curry, and winning the title, bringing the title back to his hometown. I think that would just be a great story.
No, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I think even as a media member, because we're communication guy, journalism guys in school. I think whenever and we can separate our bias, but whenever we watch something, we root for the story. You want the good storyline in with something like this. But game one's tipping off in a few minutes. Thanks for tuning into the Beantown Blitz podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and go to beantownblitz.wordpress.com. Go Cavs.